Today we're going to have a look at the VVC. We got part of the way through putting the head together, and as we have described, we had some issues with these wonderful gaskets. So we're going to try and test fit some pieces of this together today. We've got the cam carrier and the camshaft there and the main head. I'm going to try and get these VVC mechanisms, which are over here, test fitted onto the head. That'll be these two lovely Simons and my good self. So let's get that underway and we can do some demos of exactly what that's going to look like.
Welcome back to the channel. This is the 5th video in Swampy's MGT F160 VVC engine repair series. This Rover 1.8 litre K series was significantly low on compression in one cylinder, and this was impacting its performance. When we dismantled it, we found bore scoring in one cylinder bore, so we'll be fitting a new liner and piston, but at the moment we're rebuilding the cylinder head. You might remember that we made a mistake taking the engine apart and removed the VVC actuators against MG's advice, so we are now fighting to get the VVC assembly back together. The plan is to see if the seals on the new gasket will compress into the head and the cam carrier when fitted.
Right. So,
Right.
Well, it's on and it looks like it's sealed, but I can't guarantee it. So that's worked by the look of it. Now the question is, if we take it apart again, has it ripped that to pieces, or has it just gone, oh, I fit?
What do you reckon is the name for a collection of MGs?
A collection of MGs?
Collection of MGs. I'm thinking something like a madness of MGs, because I think we have to be the only bloody things.
A tatter? A tatter of MGs? A fault of MGs?
Apparently an explosion of MGs.
That
Right.
In a video to come
yeah.
at some stage.
A bit tatty.
The seals are rigid enough not to have compressed like we'd hoped they would, but they can at least be trimmed to fit.
Yeah, that's kind of better. Not perfect, but it's definitely better than it was. Those two.
That maybe. Yeah.
But we are at last ready to start building up the head. So firstly we'll fit the cams and the VVC mechanisms to the cam carrier.
It doesn't need anything on there because the seal is on the outside. Fitting the front VVC mechanism to the cam carrier at the moment, this is just held on with 2 bolts so it doesn't fall off.
Yes.
Okay. So turn the inner rotating part of the mechanism so that the toothed rack on the outer rotor lines up. So there. Is that lined up? I can't see from.
Slightly out, but not much.
So the slot in the rotor lines up with the slot in the machined outer support ring of the mechanism casing.
Yeah. So
At this point, the teeth on the rotor should start pretty much level with the cam ladder surface and extend down below the surface of the rack radially, effectively from 3 o'clock position to the 7 o'clock position as viewed from the front of the ladder.
Yep.
The start of the rotor's toothed rack should be clearly visible through the break in the casing support ring where the sink shaft will fit. Support the VVC mech with your hand and remove the 2 bolts holding the mechanism to the ladder. to not let the mechanism fall away or disengage from the cam, rotate the mechanism slightly anti-clockwise so that the slot which accepts the sink shaft moves upwards away from the ladder. Take the sink shaft and enmesh the front end, this has the 2 tooth pin in it, into the teeth on the mech's rotor. Rotate the VVC mechanism back into its correct position.
Okay.
And this should bring the sink shaft down into its correct position, nestling in its bearings.
Right.
Like that. So basically do that.
And put that into there.
Yeah. And then drop
And
it
lower
back
it
down.
down in.
Is it actually enmeshed? There, not
Enmeshed.
entirely. There. And then drop that back in there.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
well, that's that bit. That's the easy bit. The timing
So,
bit is
right.
that they both have to line up.
Just
Yeah,
rotating that.
so I just rotated that slightly,
Yeah.
which has,
You can see that.
we
as
can
you
see that
rotate
they're
it.
going back in line, aren't
Yeah.
they?
So
Yeah.
now they're back in line.
Yeah.
So it's all right for that one.
That one
Mhm.
is alright, yeah. At this point, the slot in the rotor and the slot on the mechanism casting at the top centre should be pretty much in line.
Mm-hmm.
Take the rear VVC mechanism and rotate the inner rotor in the anti-clockwise direction until the slot in the rotor and the slot in the mech housing are in line again. Flip that up into there. That is all the same. So this needs to be lined up.
You got a couple of bolts you can pass me, and then I can.
Bloody knack to it. Yeah, it should be fine if I could get any of this together, which it doesn't seem. There we go. Is that? That's not right, is it? No.
Well,
No, they're out. It's out by a tooth. Out again.
yeah. Okay.
Try and get that. Oh, what are we doing now? Still out. Still out. There.
Yeah,
Out.
this one can't move very far. There's a key in it.
That.
Is that it?
No. Still out by a tooth. It's goodbye everything that was on there. Alright, that one's the all the way down there.
So I can lift that up.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
it there?
That is lined up perfectly at the top, and it is lined up perfectly on the side. The mechanism's turned freely, all feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when it's up the other way,
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it says you should be able to see through that hole,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
you'd see.
Okay. Right, can you see that?
Sure. I thought they'd
Right.
look like a screw head. But
Right. Right.
do you think that's
Okay. Going through and doing IOP and dragging them all down.
or you can use
We weren't 100% confident, so we decided to double check what we've done so far.
Right. So,
Would you say that looks perfect to me?
yes, I would say that is in position there. That is on the top one there. Yeah. So let's have that sitting nicely. Right, so this needs.
Everything seems good, the mechanisms move freely, so it seems okay. Okay.
I can grab this side so we can go down straight.
Yeah.
Have you got that end? Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go.
So we're not even on the...
No, I'm just slowly tightening them up
Yeah.
bit by bit, and then going back and just going along. Yeah, don't forget that pesky one in there.
Tool,
Yeah.
but
They tend to have everything laid out in kits. Like.
Okay. Good start.
so there's top ones
Yeah,
first.
straight in.
Top ones
Top
first.
ones first.
Mine is. No.
Eight still.
They're 8.
According to the workshop manual, we were supposed to be able to turn the mechanism with a screwdriver by moving the gear that the actuator mechanism messes with. Unfortunately,
It's completely wedged. Sort of. It turns, but not nicely. Like, it moved a tiny bit.
Yeah, that's all I could get it to do with the screwdriver,
Yeah.
I thought. But it showed that the shaft was free.
It moved ever so slightly.
our first thought was that the VVC mechanism that had accidentally been knocked and had fallen apart hadn't been put back together properly. So it was dismantled, thoroughly cleaned and rebuilt.
You've got that.
Okay, so
I think we can be fairly confident this is okay.
That end seems alright.
so bottom bolt out from there then.
Yeah, great deal. I can live with that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I brought in a tin.
That's looking good.
That's smooth as anything.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
What we proved here was that the mechanism and the camshaft could move freely. The mechanism was most definitely not jammed internally.
No.
Something went back together in the mechanism not quite correctly. Or
Yeah.
Right, now,
Maybe the mechanism hadn't gone back together correctly originally. We don't know for sure, it was just a theory, but it all seems okay now.
$30, $31, $32.
Right.
So we end up there. What
Okay.
happened there? No, that's not going in. Yeah, that is not moving. Definitely not free to move.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious that torquing the carrier down was pinching something, so we slackened the bolts off, expecting it to free up.
Side between the head, the exhaust cams are pushing it apart.
That's gone like 2 notches. Oh, it's gone a bit, but it's still mega stiff.
Yeah.
I doubt I'll
And
be
now
able-
what will come out of it. Okay.
As that was still too tight, we decided to remove the VVC mechanisms, torque down the cam carrier bolts, and see if the sink shaft would rotate freely when the VVC mechanisms weren't fitted.
Some changes on some other engine I'm not aware of. No
Stuck.
chance. Not moving a bit. Can't even move it along. It's completely.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's not.
Oh no, but it
That's not
recommends you
free, is it?
Yeah, I can
use a
turn it.
screwdriver in the hole.
I can turn it
Okay.
with a screwdriver.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Piston in.
Push the piston in, didn't you?
It doesn't say hammer the piston in.
No, but it.
No joy, it can be forced to move, but there's no way it should be like that.
Position where
Oh,
that
hang
moves as
on.
well.
I know what I need to do.
Hopefully the last test
Undo
fit.
this,
Oh yes.
don't we? I will. That's it in there, that's it in there.
Yeah. That way round. Okay. Right, sorted.
No.
How's
Number that one. That's the one that always throws us out.
still different person is doing it. That's nice.
It's surprising how tedious undoing and retightening 32 bolts can be.
Were before.
Yeah. That now pops onto there. Should rest at the point
There.
on there.
And then it's just a matter of popping these in. Okay.
As well. And it will pull out a bit anyway. And then it should.
Disengage.
Yep.
No, it wasn't like this last time, was it?
No, I pulled it out last time.
Yeah.
That much.
No.
Right, stay there.
That's all got to come off anyway. There's the back plate's not
Yeah,
on.
this is true. Yeah, so
So
can you get into that?
Having made several unsuccessful attempts to rebuild this, Swampy decided that we needed professional help. We also needed a professional engineer. So the whole lot went off to C+F Engineering in Letchworth because, let's face it, we were as stuck as a VVC mechanism.
Do I have him do everything?
yeah.
And I don't want you to do everything. I want to do it. Stop trying to steal my thunder.
Well, C&F reckoned that it was simply insufficient lubrication. We thought we'd used enough of that assembly lube, but maybe not.
Why can you not just push the control rod in, then put this over the top of it? What difference would that make? Maybe it proves it's working. It seems a bit long-winded to do that. Because surely to be able to test whether it will go in all the way, you just push it in all the way, like that.
Which is looking very promising.
So that's very hard to pull out again, but it's working. Yes, it's just operating correctly as far as I can tell. And I guess once it's got some actual fluid in it, then it's got more oil in it than it currently has. Yeah, that moves in and out fairly freely.
Good.
Yeah. Sound like I'm putting loads of effort into it, but actually when that went in, that was very easy. Interesting, though. Yeah. I can see why they've moved.
Yeah, one strike.
Any luck? The suggestion being, if you pull that control rod out and the control rod still leaves you in the time position, then it doesn't matter where it is in the VVC mechanism when you put it on.
I'd assume that
The
the ECU resets it.
Yeah.
Once everything gets powered up, the ECU is going to reset it to put it where it wants it anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, although I don't know how it knows where the timing is.
Okay. We could now refit the rear timing belt backplate and cam gears.
Hey, one.
That should be about there.
Almost perfect. A couple I would say that's it. The 2 timing marks on the cam gears align with the line on the back plate, which allowed temporary fitting of the front cam gears to check that they were correctly aligned. When you've got the tractor's tool back, I'm on that.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Yeah.
Right, that one's all right. Okay, I'm reasonably happy that that's back together sensibly.
Yeah.
And we've
Yeah,
double checked
absolutely.
everything and that's back together sensibly. So.
Okay.
Just need to be in tight with that, but that's it.
Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon.